Good morning, welcome back to the channel. Sorry it's been a while since I put out a video, but there's not been much going on. The pond is still covered. Got all excited early spring and uncovered the pond, and we had problems after a dip in temperatures. So I'm still not going to take them off yet. I'm off down to Queni because I bought a couple of fish and I've been waiting for the pond temps to rise before picking. Yes, I bought 2 fish from Queni. I may end up coming back with another one if I see anything I fancy, but the wife's coming with me this time, so not going to be easy to get that one out, but we'll see. We're at 15.5 degrees now, so we're going to be alright to put a couple of fish in. And when I come back from Queni, I'll have a chat with you and tell you what was going on with the fish and how I've sorted it out and how things are now, so I'll see you in a little while. That is the biggest yamabuki I've ever seen. Will you buy me one of these?
Yeah. Buy one of them.
That is stunning, that is. I cannot believe that. That's got to be 90 cm. Welcome to Queni. Fish are amazing. And the wife is going to buy me one, I can tell. Didn't you?
Yeah, all of them.
Is that the one you like?
Yeah.
Can't you? I cannot get over this yamabuki.
There's 2 of them.
I cannot get over that. How much is that yamabuki? Just out of
I
interest.
don't think he was in there.
Does he not? Find that yellow one. That's...
Is it that one? No.
How big? 66? Nah, that's probably bigger than 66.
Yeah, he's not in here.
No, he's not there. Let's go and look in the ponds that we can afford. Come on, love, do the graft. So, I managed one more fish. Not the one the wife wanted, but one more fish. And I'm happy. Let's get him home in the pond. We'll talk about what's been going on. You're going to pay half of that fish. Folks, we are back from Queni with 3 lovely new fish. 2 that I bought online a while ago while I waited for the ponds to come up to temp, and 1 that I chose today. So they're just acclimatising in the pond now. I'll get them in the bowl, give them half an hour now, I'll get them in the bowl and we'll have a look at them. And then we'll sit down and have a chat about what's been going on with the pond. I've took the covers off just for now, but I think they're going to be going back on. I'm not happy that the temperatures keep going up and down. It's just been really unsettling. I think next week we're looking at, what are we, 15 today, the pond is 15.5 today, the pond is. And temps are looking to go down to sort of 10, 11 again next week, so I think I'm going to put the covers back on. I just don't want any issues. I think probably beginning of May is more likely when I'll leave the covers off. I'm off to France fishing in May, well, second week in May for a week. And I'm thinking it's probably best to keep the covers on until I get back. Just so I've got no issues with fish jumping out of the pond while I'm away and stuff. So yeah, those fish are acclimatised, and we'll get a look at them in a little while. And there they are, all active. I'm going to sit down and have a chat, tell you what I've been doing, and the problems I've had and how I've come across them. And just so you guys don't make the same mistakes, really. We'll talk about salt. I've not used salt before until recently, so we'll have a chat about the salt, see what your thoughts are, and I'll tell you how it's helped me out. So yeah. Wife's brought me a brew out, so we're going to have that. And we've got 3 pictures to show you from Queni. Once we've got them out and had a look at them, I'll show you what we bought. See you in a little while. Have a look at some of the fish, see how they're doing. Water's looking nice and clear. Definitely a lot more active. Yeah, still very shy when the covers come off. Still very shy. I'm hoping that the addition of a few new fish will give them a bit more confidence to come up and feed. They're all very happy at the moment. Haven't been happy for the last month or so, but we'll go through that in a little while. Right then, so where do we start? Okay, I don't know if you guys remember the last video where I put on the glass guards and the little tancho jumped out. After that I covered the pond up again. The fish went sort of dormant, sat on the bottom, weren't very happy at all, stopped feeding, and I was trying to look at all the things I've done to try and sort of get the pond started for the spring. The first things first was I PP'd the pond after finding trick and costia. That got rid of those, but I had a problem with flukes, and I treated the pond, I think it was twice with the fluke M, and then I used the absolute, I think it's Parasite Plus, something like that, the clover leaf stuff, and we treat the pond. So we got rid of all the parasites in the pond, but the fish just really struggled after all the treatments. They stopped eating, they were spitting the food out constantly, and they were pretty much just sat on the bottom. Alright, wife?
Hi.
Bring us that tea, love. Thank you. So the fish were just sat on the bottom, and I wasn't sure what to do with them. And after getting some advice from Exclusively Koi, the lads there, they've been really helpful, and they've told me to salt the pond. I've never used salt before, just because of hearing some bad press about it. So I went and bought myself a salt meter, which wasn't cheap. Can't remember the brand, I'll have to have a look in a little while, but got myself a salt meter and I salted the pond little bit by bit up to 0.4, and within a couple of days the fish started to perk up. They weren't eating, but they were perking up, started moving off the bottom, etc. And left that 0.4% in the pond for about 2 weeks. You right there, kid?
Yeah.
Left that in the pond for about 2 weeks, and I've seen a massive improvement in the fish where they started feeding. The temps were still low on the pond, but they still, you know, just looked much healthier, much happier in the pond. And after 2 weeks, the fish have been feeding again, sort of back to their normal selves. So what did I do then? Still kept the covers on the pond just to keep the temps up, and now I've started to reduce the salt down to, I think we're at 2.8 now, slowly doing small water changes, and we're down to 2.4 today on the salt, so just a tonic really. So everything's been pretty good until last week when I came to do a filter clean, and while the pond was refilling, ran up to have a shower, came back down to find out that I'd left the bubbles again for the second time, left the air in the pod, and everything overflowed, literally emptied the pod of all its media. It was all over the floor, the pond was half empty, and thankfully I'd got in the float switch which cut everything off, otherwise the pond would have been empty by the time I came down. So I was absolutely gutted, picking up bits of media off the floor and trying to get it all in the pod. So I mean, it was only out on the floor for probably an hour, but it's knocked the filters back. I've got a little bit of an ammonia spike, nothing else really. It's all back in the pond, it's all up and running, but I never had any ammonia problems before that. So slight touch of ammonia, so I've been doing a few little water changes just to get it back, and that's where we're at. And obviously the fish come today, so hopefully the water's okay for them to go into. The temps are about right. I think there's only 1 degree difference between my pond and what's at Queni Koi, but I've just got to keep an eye on the feed now with the ammonia, keep those ammonia, keep it down to a 0. It's only at 0.25, so I'm not that concerned about it, but again, I don't want it to get any bigger. I don't want the numbers to go any higher really. I'm not sure if you guys have any ideas in terms of the feed. I've been feeding wheat germ up until sort of, I don't know, 11-12 degrees where I've changed the food. Would that make a difference to the ammonia? As I said, I've had no problems with ammonia at all during the winter when I was feeding wheat germ, but now that I'm feeding the kasuri and the what's the new stuff I bought, I'll have to go and show you. Expensive stuff. Let's have a look. Oh, it's the Sakai. Just because the pellets that I bought are medium, they're a bit too big for the small fish. So I went and bought Saki Hikari, just a small pellet for the smaller fish because they were struggling. Media's all working well, there's nothing wrong with that. Got no problems there. Like I said, everything's running hunky-dory, just that mistake that I made has knocked the filter back a little bit. And again, I've been sort of feeding the same amounts as in winter, but just moved over to the better food and come off the wheat germ. So that's obviously going to have an effect on the filter. So we're just going to keep an eye on that until we get the levels right before we start whacking food in. I'm sure that adding in new fish as well is going to affect the parameters, but we'll just keep an eye on it. Hopefully they'll settle in all right. As I said, there's still a tonic in the pond, 2.4 with salt, so hopefully that'll help the fish settle down, get rid of any stress related issues, and a nice few fish. So nice addition to the pond. I don't think I'll add any more this year, maybe one. I'm looking for Yamabuki Ogon, or maybe a Krashikoi, something like that, or maybe even I don't know, we'll see, but potentially towards the end of the year I might add one more, but I think unless I get rid of any, that's as much as I'm going to have. And like I said, once these are in and they're settled, I'm then going to put the covers back on the pond and leave it, just to try and keep those temps, because I think the drop in temperatures really caused me some problems. So there we go, but all the fish seem happy, they're all busy, very hungry as well. Like I said, I'm having to keep an eye on the feed, so I'm literally only feeding probably 10 grams a day, which is a tiny amount, until I get those ammonia levels back to 0, and we'll see how we go. But folks, that's the update, that's what I've been doing. I've also been away fishing as well, so don't forget Bezos Carp channel if you're interested in that. Done a session on my new syndicate. So yeah, so I haven't been home on my days off from work, so splitting my time between pond keeping and fishing. So yeah, we'll have my brew, we'll get the fish out, get them in the bowl and let you have a look. Forgot to mention, there's Dot, the one that jumped out of the pond. She's recovered nicely. I think there was potentially a little bit of fin rot on her. She damaged the rear tail fin, but the salt has helped clear all that up. But yeah, she's recovered nicely. Still got a couple of scales missing, but there's no signs of any infection, which is good. Easter shower, which is called Lisa, is doing well. Struggled to come up at first for the feed, but she was feeding off the bottom, but now she's starting to join the rest of the food on the top, so they all seem pretty happy at the moment. As I said, I'm fairly happy with the water. pH is at around about 7.5 to 8. No nitrites, like I said, slight ammonia, so everything's fairly good, and we're at 15.5 degrees, so it's not so bad. Don't forget, looking forward to getting a heater towards the end of the summer. Air source heat pump. I don't want to go through those winter problems anymore. There's Cheeto, and here's Big Blue, and Fizz. I don't know if you remember, Fizz had the lumps on her head, which was, I think it was cart pox. We weren't sure if they were tumours or what. They're pretty much, a couple have gone away on their own. The other ones are going down, and he seems on the mend. Feeding like a good one, seems healthy. So yeah, just winter related problems again. There's Lisa the shower, and there's Andy the shower. I can't tell you why we've called him Andy, but, and there's Dot. So they're all doing well at the moment. And Sylvia here, all doing well, and the wife's doing well.
What do you think, all these?
I haven't showed them yet. Let's have a look. Don't know, you'll have to make something up.
I only know this one, Goldie.
Who?
Goldie.
I'll let you have a closer look in a little while. That was a little sneak preview. So we'll get them in the bowl, as I say, and we'll see what they look like. Scared of?
Don't know.
So they've had half an hour in the pond. We'll let them out now and see what they look like. There we go. Have a look at them. So, we have a Kinmatsuba, we have a nice Kajaku,
and Kikasui. I'm well happy with them. They're beautiful, aren't they? Beautiful. So the Matsuba and the Kikasui, I bought them online a few weeks back and picked out the Kajaku today. Although the wife didn't want me to get it, she didn't like it. Got a why? Why would you not like that? Bud, what do you think of these?
Because I saw another fish that I liked.
Beautiful. I love the Kajaku, very nice. But this is, I think this is going to be the star of the show, this Matsuba.
Yeah, she's loving that box.
Right then, happy with them?
Yes. There's Rudy.
Let's get the next one. Turn this way. There. Home. Yep. And the best one last. Come on. Look at that. Look at that bit. Wow. Stunning fish. And there they go. And meet all the others. Happy with that? Don't get embarrassing too far. There they are, besties. I think you forget how big my fish are when you look at them now, so they're actually forward to see them.
They're all friends. Oh, look at Rudolph.
Rudy. That's it for a while, no more fish. Not while you're watching them now. Fish are in, folks. There was the Matsuba, and the price I paid wasn't too much. Very nice. What is it? 38 cm. So similar size to the other fish in the pond. Then we had this Kikasui. Wasn't expensive at all, 95 quid. 33 cm. Never heard of that breeder. Ekia, whatever you call it. Aokia. This one's Marihiro, you know that one. And buddy, do you have a problem? Can I just sort the fish out? Is that right? Fish? Yeah? Oh, fish. Can I look at these myself? And then we have the Kajaku, Amosako Kajaku, 38 cm, and that was only 145 quid. So there's the prices for Queni Koi. Very happy with them fish. They're absolutely stunning. They are over the moon. So looks like the wife's happy as well. So I'm not going to feed them. I'm going to keep an eye on the ammonia, maybe trickle a little bit in the morning, but let them settle in. I'm going to keep an eye on them today, make sure they don't jump out, and put the covers on a little bit later when it starts cooling down. So folks, that is it. That is the latest video. Not really that much going on. I'm going to sit and chill today by the pond, maybe have a couple of beers, and yeah, just keep an eye on the new additions. And as I said, folks, in the future we're looking at bottom drain, retrofit bottom drain, probably as it gets warmer. When I come back from France, probably the end of May time, we might look at fitting that. But until then, there's not really much else other than keeping an eye on the water and keeping them happy. Folks, that is all I'm feeding per day at the moment. Just to keep it trickling in until we get this ammonia back. I'm going to give them a little bit of food and see how they react to it. Should we give them a bit of food then?
Yeah.
Let's see if they react to this. Yeah. Yep. Sorry about the glare, folks, but yeah. It's good they've had a feed straight away, isn't it? So fish have been in a couple of hours now. And they've settled in. They've come up for food as well, which is great. And I think by the looks of it, they've given the other fish a little bit of confidence. All's good at the moment. Come on then, come and say hello. So folks, that is it. That is the update. It's been a bit of a pain trying to get these fish feeding, but like I said, the salt has absolutely changed. Absolute game changer for me, the salt was. If you don't use salt, then if you had problems like I have and the fish are struggling after treatments, then salt is the answer. As long as you've got a meter and you can test how much salt is in there, then for me, it's an absolute game changer, especially when you're adding new fish to the pond as well. Relieves the stress, and yeah, I just absolute game changer. I'll always have salt in the shed now ready to go, and it's great that I can test how much salt is in the water still before adding any other treatments, things like that. So slowly I'm going to dilute this water until the salt's gone, because I don't think it's a good idea to keep the salt in there full time, just because, you know, parasites and things can find a way around a treatment that's in the pond constantly. So I might look at salt in the pond every 6 months, just as a bit of a, I don't know, a bit of a treatment for the fish. Seems to have done them a world of good on this occasion, so it's something that I'll definitely use in the future. So if you haven't used salt before, it's worth a try, but just make sure you know how much you're putting in the pond. Yeah, fish look happy at the moment, and dog looks happy at the moment. Yeah, bud. Yeah, life's good. Folks, don't forget, if you haven't already, click on subscribe, like the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.